The Powell County Chief Deputy says his officer used every possible tool on his belt before having to use his gun on a suspect. Coming up, we'll have the latest on that officer-involved shooting.
Everybody knows I'm a Marine.
He is talking from the hospital. The clerk shot at this gas station, and his family have a message for the public.
I think some people are just trying to, have giggles out of it.
It's not all fun and games for this clown. Why police in Bell County booked him into jail.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for watching tonight. State police are investigating tonight after an officer-involved shooting in Powell County. The deputies tell us the officer used every possible means to bring the man down, but none of it seemed to work.
Investigators say the deputy was chasing the man along Copper Creek Road near Clay City. They tell us the deputy used a taser, baton, and pepper spray. And that's when investigators say the deputy pulled out his last tool, his gun. The officer shot him, injuring him. Hillary Thornton has the latest on the case in our top story at 6.
This whole thing starting around 11 o'clock this morning with a call about a suspicious man in someone's yard out here along Coppers Creek Road.
Asked the subject what he was doing. Subject answered that this was the only spot that he could find that he could get Wi-Fi.
The 41-year-old man then refusing to give the deputy his name, taking off running. A deputy coming for backup, then following him, telling him to get on the ground, but when he refused, investigators say he was tased. That was unsuccessful, and the suspect then began pulling out the prongs. The deputy then getting on top of him, tasing him again.
That wasn't doing any good at all. This man was about 6'3", 6'4", probably 275, 280. And this deputy's 5'4" tall, weighs about 160 pounds. He gets up, he throws the deputy off his back.
They say after being tased several times was unsuccessful, neither the suspect or deputy giving up. The chase then continued out behind this field.
They finally got to a corner of a fence row, and when they did, the guy sat down and said, "I got arrested."
The deputy telling him that he was under arrest. However, then another fight breaking out, getting to the point the deputy feared for his life, and knowing his taser, baton, and pepper spray had all been unsuccessful.
The very last tool that he used, that he felt like he had to use to save his own life, was his handgun.
Investigators say the suspect was then shot in the chest.
And while the deputy was there waiting on backup and the ambulance crew to get there, he laid there and smoked a cigarette.
In Powell County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Deputies say the suspect has a long criminal history and actually had a warrant out for his arrest. They say that warrant was issued last month in neighboring Clark County for a probation violation. New video is being released tonight from an officer-involved shooting in Charlotte. And while you don't see the actual shooting, some people may find this video disturbing.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon.
Earlier this week, Charlotte police officers shot and killed 43-year-old Keith Scott. The video was recorded by Scott's wife. In it, officers tell Scott to drop a gun, but it's unclear from the video if he had a weapon or not. Police claim he was armed, but witnesses say he was holding a book. And in the video, Scott's wife tells officers her husband does not have a gun and that he has a traumatic brain injury. Charlotte police have not released their body camera or dashboard camera video yet.
He's down, but not out. Tonight, a gas station clerk shot several times during attempted robbery is speaking out from his hospital bed. Charles Moore is a clerk at the Marathon on Lansdowne Drive. As Kristen Kennedy tells us, Moore and his family have a message for the community.
Everybody knows I'm a Marine, so 4 rounds ain't.
A very brave, very blunt Chuck Moore released this video from UK Hospital.
I really appreciate the support, and I'm doing pretty good.
The support is helping the gas station clerk. Police say robbers shot him at this marathon several times Saturday. His son says he's not letting partial paralysis from those gunshots stop him.
To see him like sitting up and talking and be strong like that, it gives me hope for the future.
Moore's son Brian plans to be out here Saturday morning. Friends of his father are raising funds for him. They're giving out food and they're holding a raffle.
He's a strong guy, so he's getting better, but it's still going to be a long road.
Police are still looking for the men who shot Moore. They're also looking for a getaway driver. Moore doesn't know when he'll get to leave the hospital or just how much he'll owe in medical expenses, but does know the support he's getting right now is priceless.
Keep the cards and letters coming. They're really helping me out.
In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Officers believe the men who robbed the marathon on Lansdowne Drive were also responsible for robbing the Shell station at Lexington Green that same night. And witnesses reported seeing a white passenger car leaving both areas after both robberies. We have some new information tonight on a Lexington murder case. A judge has set a competency hearing for a man accused of killing his girlfriend. Lexington police say that William Pomeroy shot Amy Kogel at their home on Pinckney Drive in May. Pomeroy is charged with murder and evidence tampering. Police say Pomeroy told them he and Kogel were arguing over money when she pulled a gun on him. Pomeroy then claims he turned the gun around and shot her. The competency hearing has been set for October 24th.
We've learned tonight that 2 people face charges in connection with a drug overdose death this summer. David Spoonamore and Morgan Dixon are both charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with physical evidence. Their charges come just after WKYT's Miranda Combs looked into Kentucky's Good Samaritan law. According to arrest citations, Spoonamore and Dixon were with Jerry Price when he overdosed in Berea. And it goes on to say the 2 of them drove him around for hours before dropping his body off at his home in Rockcastle County. Price's body was later found in the back of his minivan. Kentucky's Good Samaritan law is meant to give a pass to people who witness an overdose if they get help for the victim.
The calendar says fall, but we're seeing summer out there.
We are, and it looks like this warm weather is going to be sticking around for our weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is enjoying all of this great weather tonight. He's live at Lexington Green with Lakeside Live. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hi guys, exactly right. It's nice out here. Okay, it's a little on the warm side, I get it. First full day of fall still feels the part of summertime throughout the region. But behind me, if you want to come out here and get some nice tunes going on, we've got the Cincy River Rats. That's right, they're down from Cincinnati. Got a little blues, little jazz, swing band going on here. They just had down to New Orleans a moment ago. And they're melting it out right now. And why not? Get on down here. Things just started a few minutes ago. We're here till 9 o'clock. Lakeside Live, Lexington Green into downtown Lexington. A warm evening, live sky cam showing that we have a blue sky that is out there. But you notice today a little more in the way of some clouds that are out there across the region. Those clouds not doing a whole lot to knock the temperatures down. Upper 80s still into most areas. Look at that humidity. It is still bone dry at roughly 35% across central and eastern Kentucky. Nothing is going to show up on your Defender Radar Network this evening or for the next couple of days. That forecast for the next few days will continue to hang on to more of the same into our Saturday and our Sunday, though as we roll into Monday, we are getting ready for a big change to blow into town. That's a fall cold front that we'll track for you when I come back here in just about 10 minutes from now. 6 to 9 right here, Lakeside Live at the Lexington Green. Guys, we'll see you in just a few.
Thank you, Chris. New tonight, Lexington police are investigating after they say someone stole a donation box from the Loudon house. Police tell us the alarm at the Loudon house went off Wednesday night at 7. They say a donation box and 2 speakers were taken, but there are no signs of forced entry. The Lexington Art League says there's been a lot of visitors and they're worried that they may have unintentionally left the doors open. The organization says staff are being more careful and checking the doors.
A southeastern Kentucky man faces charges tonight after police say he dressed up as a clown just to scare people. Police in Bell County say they spotted 20-year-old Jonathan Martin walking in a wooded area this morning. They pulled over and arrested him while he was still in that clown costume. Phil Pendleton has the story.
Lisa Miller heard about all the commotion outside her Middlesboro apartment very early Friday morning, which quickly became the talk of the town.
There was 4 cop cars out here in front of our apartment, but I had no idea that it was the clown thing.
That clown thing was the arrest of 20-year-old Jonathan Martin. Police say Martin was hiding near the Cumberland Village apartments in a full clown costume and scary mask, creating what they're calling a public alarm.
It's kind of scary. I've got twins that are just a year and a half old, so I mean, it's real scary thinking that something like that could be going on right outside my door. And
Jonathan Martin is facing a number of different offenses, but one of the charges is called wearing hoods or masks in a public place. He's also charged with disorderly conduct. Police say he was found crouched down in a wood line near the apartments.
Well, I mean, I think some people are just trying to, have giggles out of it, but other people could be taking it seriously.
There's been several clown sightings or scares around southeastern Kentucky this week, but this is the first arrest that we've been made aware of.
Somebody could be like, oh, well, there's all these clowns. I'm going to dress up like a clown and try and get people to, go in the woods with them or just anything, and they'll think that they're not going to get in trouble because everybody else is out here doing it.
But police say Martin was not up to any good doing what he was doing. In Bell County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say when they approached Martin, he first tried to run away, but he was quickly caught. Martin is still in the Bell County Jail.
As much as I like what I do, accidents happen.
2 years after suffering burns on the job in an accident, a Lexington restaurant owner wants to thank the community for the outpouring of support. Up next, how Sav's Grill is giving back.
Up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A Lexington restaurant owner wants to thank his customers for supporting him the past 8 years. 2 years ago, Mamadou Savane was badly burned during an accident at his restaurant, Sav's Grill.
Since then, he says the community has really stepped up to help him and the restaurant keep it going. Mike Linden shows us how Sav is giving back now in a story that's new at 6.
Mamadou Savane, or Sav, moved to Lexington 24 years ago from Guinea, a country on the west coast of Africa. Once in America, he followed his dream of opening a restaurant.
This type of food you see here, it's totally new around here, and that was a big gamble for me.
Sav's Grill serves the cuisine of West Africa. 2 years ago, Sav was cooking a pot of sauce for lunch service.
As much as I like what I do, accidents happen.
This is where the accident happened, in the kitchen, right here at the stove. Now, Sav says he originally only had 4 burners, and with such large pots of sauce that when he brought one to the edge of the stove, he slipped, and the pot fell over.
I have some scars here. I have some here, but mainly it's my torso and my back, because when I fell, it was just so pretty much my half body was, I would say, 70% of my body was burned.
After some time off, Sav is back in the restaurant, and he's celebrating being open 8 years this weekend with live music and, of course, food. Following an outpouring of support after his accident, Sav wants to thank the people who have supported him over the years.
I was not born in this country. I was not born in this town. I didn't go to school here. I came here, I was 29. But I can proudly say today, this is home for me.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Good man. To celebrate being open 8 years, Sav's Grill will have live African music tonight and tomorrow, and he'll also have discounts on African beer all weekend.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Back here at Lakeside Live on a gorgeous Friday evening. Lexington Green is the place to be. We may be lakeside. We've got a bunch of river rats out here. They're on stage from Cincinnati. The River Rats right now performing, and if you like a little jazz music, you like that New Orleans sound, hey, this is the place to be. And we're seeing folks that continue to just pile on in out here. They're bringing their lawn chairs, and they're just camping out and having a good old time. We're going to be here through 9 o'clock this evening. As temperatures slowly begin to drop, it continues to feel good. And by the way, we're in the shade out here, so you're in good shape if you're heading out here tonight. If you miss tonight, tomorrow night, 6 to 9 o'clock as well. Let's talk a little bit about the weather and show you the temperatures across central and eastern Kentucky with readings that are generally into the mid and upper 80s into most areas. No humidity to speak of, so it certainly does not feel too bad outside of just the actual thermometer. You don't have all that haze, all that humidity in the air to really kind of weigh you down. Defender Radar Network, nothing going on across central and eastern Kentucky, and that dry sweep has been with us for the past several days. It's going to have another day or two, and then we'll change it up by the time we roll into the first part of next week. Hour by hour forecast. Your Saturday, similar to what we had out there today. We'll press close to 90 for a high temperature under a partly to mostly sunny sky. A little bit of high cloud cover will begin to creep on into the picture as well, but overall, it is a day similar to where we have been over the past couple of days. We look at what is about to happen over the next few. We're going to see a big change coming up as we go into the next few days. Now, that change occurs on Monday, and you can see that we will see the numbers begin to come down as showers and thunderstorms start to increase during that time. But the next few days, very similar to what we've had out there today. That big change will provide us with some showers and storms on Monday and some much cooler temperatures that will be noted out there as well. What about for folks who are going to be hitting Commonwealth Stadium on our Saturday? We've got temperatures that will be around 90 for tailgating. Upper 70s at kickoff, 7:30, Gamecocks in town. And by the time we hit the fourth quarter and getting ready to hopefully wrap up the victory and head home, those temperatures upper 60s to around 70 degrees. But dry weather will be the norm during that time. 7-day forecast showing that big change that is lurking into early next week with temperatures behind this front that you see on the move really coming down in a hurry early next week. 90 again tomorrow, mid-80s on Sunday. Look at the day on Monday. Monday's one of those days you may hit your high around noon and then drop it off with some showers and thunderstorms. And Tuesday, Wednesday, upper 60s to around 70 and low 70s will likely take us through the rest of next week with lows that can hit the 40s for the first time this young fall season for many of us across central and eastern Kentucky. And I can tell you guys firsthand, even though we have no humidity in the air out here, it's still a little on the toasty side with those temperatures that are into the mid and upper 80s. Got a little bit of a breeze stirring things up. And a great band behind me on the stage, Lakeside Live, until 9 o'clock this evening. I'll save you guys the table.
Thank you, Chris. We can hear you tapping your toes from here. Enjoy the music, my friend. So loud he can't hear us.
I know. It feels
right.
like New Orleans there is where he's at. Just ahead, the Cats, they'll have a new starting quarterback tomorrow night.
That being Steven Johnson, he showed us what he could do coming into the game last weekend. One thing he better not do tomorrow, and that's get hurt. He talks about how he'll play next in sports. With Drew Barker on the sidelines, it'll be up to Steven Johnson to start at quarterback tomorrow night against South Carolina. And coming into the game early last weekend, he looked good, really good. But tomorrow night, he won't be up against New Mexico State's defense. And the Cats can't afford to have Johnson go down with an injury. If he does, they'll be down to a true freshman or a transfer at quarterback.
Well, I always try to play as hard as I can, give it all I've got. But I know that I can't make stupid mistakes, like try to run over 250-pound linebacker. So I'm going to try to protect myself as best as I can, but try to get as many yards and score as many touchdowns as I can also.
We knew he was a good player, but I didn't know he'd have that kind of game. You know, with those kind of numbers, you take away that first series, and he was absolutely remarkable. So let's hope he can keep that going. But either way, if he's not perfect, we know he'll keep his poise and operate this offense and move the offense, and we have a lot of confidence in him.
Cats and the Gamecocks in Commonwealth Stadium, 7:30 kickoff on the SEC Network tomorrow night. Last night's moving ceremony has to be still on the minds of those who witnessed the unveiling of a statue of UK's first 4 African-American football players. Fans going to the game tomorrow will see the statue honoring UK's pioneers of integration for the first time. Wilbur Hackett is one of the 3 surviving players honored. Afterwards, he was almost at a loss for words.
I mean, it's really hard to describe how I felt, but it was just an overwhelming feeling. But more than anything, I'm just happy for Greg, and just to see us 4 on the statue. I just kind of reflected on what would it have been like if we all 4 had played together. I try not to get too emotional about it, but it's just a great feeling, something that's going to be special for a long, long time.
Let's jump ahead now. The 2018 season is a long way off, but Kentucky will open in 2 years against Central Michigan in Commonwealth Stadium. The date will be September the 1st. Reportedly, Central Michigan will receive a $1.15 million guarantee for the game. Congratulations go out to the 6 new members of the UK Athletics Hall of Fame who are being inducted tonight. They are former football coach Rich Brooks, All-American softball player Molly Johnson Belcher, cross-country great Bernadette Madigan Dugan, basketball fan favorite Chuck Hayes, wrestler James Johnson, and one of the best defensive football players in Kentucky history, Wesley Woodyard. And we are at the midway point of the high school football regular season, believe it or not. Here's this week's top 10 WKYT Game Time Top 10. Scott County back to number 1 despite its forfeit loss Friday to Lafayette. The Generals down to number 2. They host Henry Clay tonight. LCA is number 3. Tates Creek and Danville split the number 4 spot. Southwestern is 6, followed by Somerset, Madison Southern, and Madison Central. Bryan Station rounds out the top 10. Lee K. Howard and Brian Milam will be right here with all the highlights later on tonight. Sam, Amber?
Rob, thank you. A final check of your First Alert forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, the first presidential debate is 3 days away. Now, the candidates are interrupting their preparations for that to weigh in on the Charlotte shooting.